The following is an Outdoor Channel original production.
Montana, big sky country. Protecting this rugged wilderness is a brave group of men and women. These are the Wardens, dedicated to the preservation of the last best place.
This year in western Montana, high temperatures and low snowpack and early snow melt and lack of snow in the spring have all kind of combined for a pretty hot, dry summer.
There's dead, right there.
The low water conditions in the streams have led to some closures for fishing, and the high temperatures early and throughout May and June led to some remarkably early closures for fire restrictions.
Every year, more than 10 million people get outside and take advantage of Montana's wild resources. But this summer, severe drought chokes the western half of Montana. Dozens of fires burn out of control, creating a potentially dangerous situation. The severe heat and fire forces wildlife out of alpine areas and down into town. State Game Warden Berg patrols near Missoula.
So we got a bear here in town Missoula. It appears to be the same bear that we darted and moved, gosh, many miles.
Berg responds to a problem bear call. Wardens worry about increased interaction between black bears and people.
We got somebody holding the bear up a tree, and we got Sergeant Dan Curtin in front of me with the bear trap, just in case we do dart it, and gotta secure it somewhere. And then we'll go give him a hand.
For our function administratively, we see a real increase in the attention towards fire and drought when we're in these years. Now, what's interesting is we don't often think of our wildlife folks, because while we're dealing with the rivers and the activities for fire, our wildlife folks are also seeing a real increase in the work that they have to do, primarily with bear, as the black bears that are living in higher elevations start running out of food and start coming into lower elevations. We normally, on a normal year, don't see that happening until later in the summer, but during high temperature years and drought years, those bears move lower sooner.
Wardens find a small crowd gathered near the scene. Berg immediately spots a sizable black bear 20 feet up a tree.
Now they're flying in out to Seattle as we speak.
He preps a tranquilizer while the other wardens stand guard near the onlookers. The dart hits the bear, but the animal unpredictably retreats up the tree.
Yeah.
Load that other dart up.
Now, wardens have a real pickle on their hands, with plenty of people watching.
Well, it appears the dart made its mark. It appears the drug was injected, Looks like the thing went to sleep pretty quick, but now it's asleep in the tree instead of coming down and going to sleep. So we're trying to make a plan B, I guess, at this point. So we'll see what plan B is here in a minute.
Summer drought and dozens of wildfires scar parts of western Montana. The heat threatens many of Montana's blue ribbon trout streams. State wildlife biologists discover a substantial fish kill on the Bitterroot River. Researcher Chris Clancy sets out to try to figure out just how many trout might have died.
Trout, being a cold water animal, are very much regulated by water temperatures, and they, unlike most fish, need even colder water temperatures than many. And so the state has criteria. When you start to see 3 days in a row, if we see 73-degree water temperatures, we are thinking about, or at least in the discussion, of restricting angling because the fish are under stress. What is it? 15.7? Okay. So this is the East Fork and the West Fork coming together. The East Fork is about 2.5 degrees centigrade warmer than the West Fork. Later in the day, it's even warmer than that. So this moderates some of the cooler temperatures. The East Fork moderates the cooler West Fork. And now we're on the main stem Bitterroot, and temperatures are going to be higher than the West Fork. And typically we find more mortalities, more dead fish in the main stem than we do in the West Fork, because the West Fork's colder.
The unseasonable heat forces state officials to impose what's called hoot owl regulations. That means anglers cannot legally fish during the hottest part of the day. After 2 p.m., fishing is off limits.
The upper Bitterroot is a little different. The upper Bitterroot never meets that 73-degree temperature criteria. However, there's a lot of cutthroat in the upper Bitterroot, and what we have found over the years is that we're seeing high numbers of, what we consider high numbers of dead cutthroat trout in the river, even though it's not meeting the criteria.
The cutthroat is Montana's official state fish. These rare trout get their name from the distinct red patch under the jaw. Cutthroat trout tend to exist in more rugged sections of Montana streams and lakes. Declining habitat and competition from non-native species have endangered cutthroat populations throughout the West.
Is it?
Biologists also blame the hot weather.
This is the 4th year we've done these floats. So we started in 2012. And what we've found looking at the data over the years is that as we start seeing water temperatures of around 67 or 68 degrees, we start to see more West Slope cutthroat in the river that have died. We're assuming they're from handling mortality. We don't know that for sure, but we have a strong suspicion that's the case. So this little pocket here, there, these two, and I think there's another one out there yet. And what we're doing there is we're just simply looking for dead fish, and when we see them, we try to net them, pull them out, measure them, figure out what species they are, and based on the database we've gotten over the years, we have found that West Slope cutthroat are found in much higher proportion of dead fish than they are in the population in the river. So they're selectively having a higher mortality rate. Probably 2 factors lead to that. Cutthroat trout are aggressive feeders, you might say. They're easy to catch, and so they get handled a lot, they get caught a lot by fishermen. At the same time, they have much lower temperature tolerances than rainbow and brown trout. So those 2 factors play into the fact that we're seeing more dead cutthroat up here than the other species, even though they're in a minority in the population.
A severe summer drought covers western Montana. Low water conditions coupled with higher water temps force the state to shut down afternoon fishing, what's called hoot owl restrictions. no fishing after 2 p.m.
We have our angling public and our outfitting constituency that are out there trying to make a living off of providing this recreational opportunity to anglers that are significantly impacted when you can't fish for half the day. And so as our anglers and our commercial folks are out there on the water not able to fish in the afternoons, that's really impactful.
Hamilton's Freestone Fly Shop sits nearly empty. Owner Jeff Gray feels the heat from fishing restrictions.
The retail is hurt just as bad as the outfitting business. Just fewer people coming into town. The word on the street is the river's closed, even though it doesn't close until 2. A lot of folks aren't making the trip over here.
So wildlife has already responded to high temperatures by changing the amount of time that they're out. They become more nocturnal, they stay closer to water. And so that generally leads to wildlife that has changed their behavior in response to the high temperatures and drought.
It also means more unexpected interaction between wildlife and residents. In Missoula, wardens try and capture a 250-pound black bear that wandered out of the hills in search of food.
As the black bears that are living in higher elevations start running out of food and start coming into lower elevations, we normally, on a normal year, don't see that happening until later in the summer, but during high temperature years and drought years, those bears move lower sooner.
Wardens are able to tranquilize the problem bear. Problem is, the animal hunkers down in the tree. Now wardens have to sit and wait for him to sleep off the drugs.
As they get lower, they interact with people more. So they're in the urban areas more and the outskirts of towns more. All of that means for our staff is that we're doing a lot more be bear aware type communication with folks in those subdivisions and urban areas around town.
He's up now. I put the dart in.
Okay.
He was starting to break some branches, so I put it in the ready. There's not a charge in yet.
The bear stands its ground. Wardens can't wait any longer. They decide to force it down. A single, non-lethal rubber bullet does the trick. The bear unexpectedly falls 30 feet. The wardens move fast to get the bear caged. They worry the fall might have injured the animal.
Hey, stay back! Stay back! Stay back!
So our enforcement staff and wildlife staff, since this early part of the spring and early part of the summer, have moved more black bear and have more black bear interaction than past years where those drought aren't in place. So they're really doing a lot of bear management, and it's impactful to their normal summer exercises and routines.
Doing glass first count, just toss it in for straight. On 3, 1, 2. Push. Take just a second.
A veterinarian will examine the bear. If healthy, wardens will release him in a remote area far from Missoula. The capture attracts local media. Warden Berg agrees to answer a few questions.
Some people may wonder, does this constitute a problem bear in the sense that it appears to reappear in residential neighborhoods?
Yeah, this would definitely constitute, I would say, what our policy calls a nuisance bear. It has had numerous calls on it. On its way back down up Lolo Creek where we dropped it, it was getting into trouble up there. A couple days ago, it was closer up, about halfway up Highway 12, and it made its way back here. Obviously, there's a food source or something that it liked here, but like I said, we tried to remove it. We got it finally out of the tree, and we're gonna go look the bear over. It did appear to have a little wound on it. I don't know if it hit a branch or what, but we're gonna go try and doctor it up and while it's sleeping and see what we can do for it.
Montana is in the throes of a severe drought. Wildfires dot western Montana's rugged landscape. Even with 400,000 acres burning, anglers find their way onto local rivers. That activity keeps state biologists busy.
A regional perspective, as we look at our regional staff, made up of our fisheries employees and our enforcement employees and wildlife folks all out in the field, there's a real change in the work that they do in the summer when we have a drought here. So on a given year, when there is not drought, the summer season is their opportunity for our fisheries folks to get out and do a lot of river sampling and all their work to get baseline information on populations for the trout. When we have a hot, dry summer with fire and drought, we see our staff burdened with this extra load of stuff. It kind of puts aside all of their higher priorities for administrative work, and it goes right to fire.
Even so, biologists make time to get on the water, even if it's after normal working hours.
We're on the Missouri River in central Montana below Holter Dam. And what we're doing tonight is a population estimate on rainbow trout. This is one of the premier wild trout fisheries in the country. And it's one of the top 3 fisheries in the state of Montana. It's a very important public resource. So we spend a fair amount of our time conducting surveys and inventories of fish populations and studying fish behavior, things like that. And tonight what we're doing is a population estimate. The reason we do it at night is because it's a very shallow river. Fish can usually see us during the daytime, and also it reduces conflict with anglers. We're out here when they're not, so that's the main reason we do it at night.
Researchers use a specially rigged boat with giant booms to capture fish.
We use a method called electro-fishing, which involves introducing a current of electricity into the water, and it basically acts to attract the fish.
Electro-fishing stuns and temporarily paralyzes the fish. That allows researchers to handle them and gather key information.
Once we capture them, we will mark them, we weigh them and measure them.
2.1.
Get a length on them, and then we'll mark them with a little hole punch in their tail. And so we let those fish go again, and we come back a week later after those fish have mixed up with the rest of the fish in the river, and we'll do the same thing. We'll capture the fish, and we'll count the number of marked fish to unmarked fish, and from that proportion we can estimate the population. So in this sense, we're not handling every fish in the river. We are handling just a small sample of them. The reason we do these population estimates is, one, so that we can have accurate numbers to report to the public. The public demands that we really monitor these populations so we know what's going on. The overall reason for it is so that we can determine what the population's status is, whether it's healthy, whether it's struggling, and in some cases we might institute angling regulations that would protect a struggling population. And we do a lot of work in this reach of river, this 30-mile reach of river with habitat, where we try to improve spawning habitat. We work with landowners to safeguard the riparian areas, the edges of the river, so that the habitat is the best that it can be to maintain the fishery.
In 2015, Montana saw 2,150 wildfires along with record heat and some of the lowest river flows ever documented. The men and women of Montana Fish, Wildlife, and Parks work overtime to protect the state's most sensitive natural resources. It's a job that never ends.
212, we're getting a report of a female bear and her baby cub in the area of the Blue Mountain Wreck area near the Falls Course turnoff with several people in the area.
Hey, we're just leaving the office. We're pretty close. If you want, I can go take a look at it real quick.
10-4, yeah, they're just out and about.